The activities of the CPD since November 3rd, 2005 have assured me of three things. One, that the CPD knew of the rapes against me at PGM before I went to the police station on November 3rd, 2005. Two, that returning to the CPD to attempt to file any charges concerning these rapes would be futile and quite possibly hazardous to my health. And three, that some members of the CPD are aligned with those directly or indirectly involved and responsible for the rapes at PGM. Understand that the rapes are state cases, and prosecutions of the rapes themselves must go through the state, and such prosecutions are to begin through the CPD. At any rate, after hearing the officer use the term "that" and witnessing CPD officers' general attitude and actions overall since November 3rd, 2005, I began to think about all of the statements made to me by suspects numbers 1 through 3, as well as by others at PGM since October 2nd, 2005, as well as about events at PGM generally, and memory solidified about rapes involving suspects numbers 1 through 3 and others at PGM and elsewhere. In some of the memories of rapes at PGM, suspect number 2 is prominent in that he orchestrates the rapes in large part by choosing different individuals to participate when the rapes do occur. Between 7 and 12 individuals, mostly from PGM's program, orally and or anally rape me, with the usual scenario being: 1, I'm drugged just before I go to sleep or just after. I was drugged just before I would go to sleep or just after by someone throwing Rohypnol-soaked pieces of paper called roaches into my mouth while I was unawares, and yawn, speak, have my mouth open during sleep, unfortunately a common occurrence, or by inhalation, ingestion, transfer, or possession, etc. I've discovered several of these roaches in my mouth and have caught individuals tossing them into my mouth. I become woozy and or exhausted after these roaches are tossed into my mouth. 2, Rohypnol, I assume, is administered in some manner while I'm asleep, while I'm in the process of falling asleep, while I'm in bed, or while I'm on a spot on the floor which I would be assigned to on an ad hoc basis. Overnight guests were assigned spots on the floor when PGM would run out of beds. I'm sorry, but what I'm doing is I'm reading this from a document which was created right before PGM asked me to leave, given that after I submitted the first bro rape is not always funny video, and so it's in the past tense. I changed it, but somehow I have a copy that is actually still in the past tense. I mean, in the present tense. It should be in the past tense. I'm sorry about that. I'm assigned on an ad hoc basis, and I need to read it because it's too emotional. I'll forget something. I'll mess up, and therefore I need to have a guide here. So I'm sorry, but that's just the way I have to do it. Which I am assigned on an ad hoc basis. Overnight guests are assigned spots on the floor when PGM runs out of beds. 3, several of the rapists monitor whether overnight guests who are not part of the rapes are asleep, and when confident that the non-participating overnight guests are asleep, I am taken from wherever I am sleeping into a less visible area, for example, into the shower area, or into the dressing area of the bathroom, or into a prayer room on the first floor. 4, there I would be raped by a number of men, and lookouts would guard the entrances to these rape areas and dissuade others from entering the areas. Moreover, since October 2nd, 2005, PGM program men, as well as several men who are overnight guests at PGM, have told me that I will be killed if I don't keep my mouth shut. Some of these individuals, including some of those who have participated in the rapes, have indicated that they are gang members and that PGM is a haven for and run by gang members. When I spoke of pressing criminal charges against them and the people they work for and with, their co-conspirators, the lawyers, the defendants, and so forth, including the security guards in the HWC case, they would start mentioning Finball, which is a gang conglomerate, think Bloods. However, given their slipperiness, I am not at all sure that they do not belong to One Love, Finball's enemy gang conglomerate, think Crips, or to some other gang, and are attempting to misdirect the blame and penalties. Connected to these rapes, on the night of December 6, 2005, both of my safety deposit keys and a $66 postal money order were taken from my wallet between the time that I went upstairs to the third floor sleeping dorm to go to sleep and the time that I awoke on the morning of December 7, 2005. A light-skinned program man, allegedly named Isaac, confessed to me that on the night of December 6, 2005, he was the one who committed the thefts, and that was good for me. The theft of these items depleted my resources since I had to use the last of my money to partially pay for the installation of a new lock on my safety deposit box, and the $66 lost in the money order was earmarked for expenses, for example, food purchased and eaten away from PGM and holiday entertainment. Since this theft left me broke during the holiday period, I cannot eat my meals outside PGM or stay outside on the holidays. Given that the Chicago Police Department has to start the prosecutions off, and given that the security guards and others who work at the Harold Washington Library Center are involved in this, they have improperly barred me from entering the Harold Washington Library Center, which is located at 400 South State Street, Chicago, Illinois 60605. I began using the Woodson Library at 9525 South Halstead Street in Chicago after October 26, 2006, because on that date I was barred from re-entering the HWLC.